Mother, Mother Ocean, I have heard your call. Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard the ship. Today is January 21st, 2026, 2:52 a.m. pirate time. And later on today, we're going to be going to the ocean. Going to be heading off to the high seas. And I want to get a video made before I go. And first thing I want to do is I want to thank one of my new subscribers, and I want to tell you guys about her channel. Her name is Irene Tansman. Her name is Irene Tansman, and her son, from what I've learned so far, her son has severe autism and lives in institutional settings because that's the best place for him. So anyways, go over to her channel and subscribe, and yeah, we gotta join forces, join my mutiny. She left me a really nice comment on my video. Oh, here it is. I don't know why it didn't show up. Anyways, she was telling me that states are ignoring the regulations. This is under my video. She left the comment under my video where I was reading about the 42.540. Wait, what was it? 441.530. And the states are ignoring the regulations. That's not good. She says when the states apply for the home community-based service waivers, I believe that's what they're called, it's HCBS, they promise to do all of the things mentioned in the regulations, but in practice, they don't abide by them. And then she says that each state has its own waivers and its own services. And the system is so complex that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, they don't have the resources to go beyond just believing what the states claim in their waiver applications. Well, they're going to have to go beyond because I have documented proof. Something has gone very, very wrong. So today I want to read about the right to risk and how they perceive the law, and I'm going to really try to read the script without messing up, so I can just get it on the YouTube, and I can be off on my little trip to the ocean, and feel good about having another video up. I don't know how it's going to get changed, but word of mouth at this point, all of us parents have first of all got to start telling them, for our different issues, because the parents that I've been meeting on this journey, just since I started my channel, they're not being respected and getting help, and nobody's looking at the true situation. And like I said before, I don't know the true answer, but I do know that taking my son didn't go to the strip club, but for him to hear in his day activity group them talking about how much fun they had, and I'm pretty sure I know whose idea it was. He doesn't want to say too much because I think he's worried about them being upset at him. In any case, they were talking about it down there and how much fun they had and that they should go to the strip club. So, in any case, I'm going to read this script about, how this is getting so misconstrued. I mean, don't people have any common sense? Don't they read the news? Don't they? That's the thing, is our stories, they're not really, they don't go far, unless, I don't even know. In any case, let's get started. All right, we're going to talk about right to risk. You've heard it used as an explanation. You've heard it used to justify activities that make parents uneasy. But what does actual federal regulation, I already messed up. Okay, I'm going to try from here on out. But what does actual federal regulation say? Today I'm going to read you what the HCBS rules actually require and break it down in plain language. Because if we're going to use these laws, we need to understand them correctly. If we're going to understand, if we're going to fix them. The heart of HCBS integration and choice. Under 42 CFR 441.530, home and community-based services must give individuals full access to community life, including employment, social participation, and community activities. Allow the individual to choose their setting from available options, not just be placed where the system wants them. Ensure privacy, dignity, respect, and freedom from coercion and restraint. See, I Googled coercion because I thought, well, what is the actual definition of coercion? And it talks more about people being coerced, like, you know, if you don't go to the strip club, I'm not going to feed you dinner. You know, like kind of mean stuff. But I'm more worried about coercion from the point of, you know, it's like Hansel and Gretel. If you make something sound fun enough, of course everybody's going to want to do it. That's human psychology. I have pirate mother psychology. If it looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And with the strip club thing, I mean, my son doesn't even know what it is. But I know if they're talking about how much fun it was, of course he would want to go. Well, and then, you know, and then under this, you know, they make all the rules for their life. That's all fine. But what if, you know, he goes and get hooked on the strip clubs, then all of a sudden I'm having to go to strip clubs all the time. I'll tell you, my husband's not allowed to go to strip clubs either. You know, it's just in polite company in the life that we live, that's not how we do things. It's just not. Even the court social worker lady said that would be a red flag to a judge for the financial risks. But I'm more worried about the people themselves. I'm seeing in the future, how would these people do in prison? You know, they could end up in prison for things they didn't even do, just because some mother might think, oh, well, he's been going to the, you know, the strip club and try to accuse them of things they can't defend themselves from, you know, and then they might themselves do something inappropriate. They might say something inappropriate in the strip club and somebody might give them the old, you know, where people are drinking. It's just not safe in so many ways, for so many reasons, that will affect these people's lives for their entire lives. They're not going to just quit being disabled and move on and find another career and move on with their lives. No, they're asking us parents to trust anybody and everybody for the rest of eternity, that they're all going to be, you know how to act in a strip club and, you know, be good, moral, supportive. I don't even know. Let's get back to the script. Okay. They are ensured privacy, dignity, respect, and freedom from coercion and restraint. Optimize autonomy, independence, and an individual initiative, meaning support the person's ability to make the choice. Meaning support the person's ability to make choices. Let the individual decide about services and supports and who provides them. This is where people talk about right to risk, because the regulations clearly value autonomy and decision making. But here's the part most people miss. The law does not say individuals have an unlimited right to do anything in the community. Providers can ignore risks if the person doesn't object. No safeguards are required, and parents have no place in planning. Instead, the law links choice to person-centered planning and informed decision-making. This comes from 42 CFR 441.540, the person-centered service plan requirements. Person-centered planning, what the law actually requires. Here's the key language from the law that shows what choice and autonomy really mean. The plan must provide necessary information and support so the individual can make informed choices and decisions. This means more than just saying choices aloud. It means giving information, supports, explanations, and options in ways the individual can understand. The plan, must reflect the individual's preferences, strengths, and needs. The plan must reflect risk factors and measures to minimize them, including The plan must reflect risk factors and measures to minimize them, including individual backup plans. The plan must be understandable to the individual and to the people important supporting them. The plan must be signed with informed consent, not just assumed consent. Why this matters. When people talk about right to risk, what they're really referring to is the law's emphasis on autonomy, access to community life, individual choice, support to make decisions. But the official documents do not say that choice can be made in a vacuum without understanding risk or without planning support. Now, see, they said that they did this all with supports. See, that's where this is yeah. The thing is the people that are planning these supports, why are we supposed to trust all of their judgments and not a parent's judgment? I guess that would be my question. The law requires choice that is informed, risks that are identified and minimized, support that is documented and understood, plans that reflect backup strategies if things go wrong. That's the thing. If something goes wrong with the things that can go wrong over a strip club incident, there is no backup strategy. That person's life is ruined forever. Consent that is written and agreed to. That isn't do whatever, that is structured choice. And I don't know if they have consent that was written and agreed to. I am kind of left in the dark on all of this, other than I know that it was happening and my son heard them talking about it. And he shouldn't have. I shouldn't know who went there. What the right to risk is according to the law. The regulations assume that individuals have choice and community access. Individuals should be supported to make decisions. Individual preferences matter. Person-centered planning should create backup plans for risk. Plans must reflect risk mitigation and consent. So what people intend when they say right to risk is in the regulations. But what fills the words with meaning is how it's actually implemented and documented. What the regulations don't say. The HCBS rules do not say that providers can insist on risk without consent, that providers can ignore measures to reduce risk, that consent can be assumed if a person doesn't object, that prior vague agreement covers all future risk. Those outcomes may happen in practice, but they are not what the law says. The law ties choice to understanding, documented planning, consent, risk mitigation, backup strategies. If those pieces are missing, then what's happening isn't consent with the regulations the state agreed to implement. I just feel like I talk in circles. One of these days this is going to click in my head that, well, I mean, I think it's clicked for me, but how did they make all of these rules with no real protection for people like my son? That's what I'm wondering. They were left out of the equation. Other than, here's a life, do with it what you want. It's not safe for them and it's not safe for the community. It's just not good. What does this mean for families? So when someone says they have a right to risk, we can say, The law supports choice, but not without planning, risk assessment, understanding, and informed consent. You have the right to ask, was the risk explained clearly? Was the person supported to understand it? Is there a plan to minimize harm? Is there a backup strategy? Is the choice documented and signed? Those are not just ideas, they are requirements in the law. Like I say, I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure they sat around and talked about it, and I'm guessing they probably signed a paper. All that stuff does not make it appropriate. This is so weird to me. Why understanding the law matters. If we don't know what the law actually says, we can be told things like, it's allowed, they can do this. That's community integration. But that's not enough. The regulations require a process, not just a phrase. And families have a right to know what that process must include, not just what providers think it means. That's why I'm reading on all this stuff. Because I want to know what it means. I don't even know what it means. And I've been in the life probably longer than some of these people have been alive. Closing. So if you're going to talk about right to risk, let's ground that conversation in what the law actually says, not just what people think it means. It's not a license to ignore safety, not a pass for assumptions, not a blanket free-for-all. It's a framework for supported, informed choice with documented safeguards, and that's where the real conversation needs to be. Yeah. Thanks for listening, mateys. I'll see you on the next voyage. So yeah, go subscribe to Irene's channel. Give her some support. We need to support each other, and if nothing else, maybe we can get some ad dollars for some lawyer ads or something. Because this is only going to get worse as time goes on. When I was young, when my son was little and in school, I always thought, well, he'd grow up, he'd turn 18, and he'd go live, at a group home or at a place, and he'd have a job where he'd go every day. But, here I am. He's going to be 41 shortly, and I'm happy he's here with me. I want him safe. I want him protected. And like I said before, I told him I think if anything happens to me, I think the best place for him is a nursing home. I feel like he'd get the most appropriate care. I don't feel like this is safe. I don't feel like it's safe at all. And I feel like well, I'm just going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm going to the ocean today. I'm going to go live out my sailor's dream. No, I'm not going on a boat. But we are going to the ocean. So, anyways, take care, and I'll see you on my next video. I think that I might do a video on person-centered support so we can learn more about that. And yeah, I'm just going to learn all this stuff as I go. And I guess after I learn it all, then I'll figure out how to fix it. And, oh, Irene said something about a grievance. Some kind of a grievance meeting. I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what it is. Something with the disabled community. So I'm going to be listening for that too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next voyage. Bye.